was to look at the overall communication plan for an individual club and put some pointers together, because the thing with marketing and marketing communications and public relations, there are everything builds on each other. So it's not that first time they hear about something, it's that second, third, fourth time that they hear about something, and then they know it's part of that same thing. It's that multiple times, it's that fourth or fifth time they hear something that they remember they actually heard it. So what's your goal in the communication plan is to connect with people consistently so they know it's the same group multiple times through multiple channels. And so that's basically what we're talking. Is that what your expectation was for tonight, Jim?
Yes, that sounds exactly what I'm looking to hear.
Okay. So basically, I'm going to talk a little bit about what integration means from the perspective of a Toastmasters club, and get you started. So basically, you're going to start where you are to integrate your communications. And so we're going to talk about the three main things around that you can use to promote your club, being the website, some networking opportunities, which include Meetup and other things, and then sharing or doing some social work to share ideas, and then starting where you are and start building up to it. So, and it looks like we've got Joan. Do I see Joan? Joan, speak up if you're here. Hi, Joan. Can you hear me okay, Joan?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Well, we just got started. So this is...
All right, Jim.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we're basically going through the integrating and the concept of integrating. So the agenda for tonight is looking at what integration is, what I mean by integration for communications with the Toastmaster Club, and where should you start? Where should you start, which is basically starting where you are. And then we're going to talk about some main aspects for communications for a club, and then where you start, and then how you kind of keep it going. Because it's, as I was saying to Jim, I think before you joined the call, it's not any one thing that helps you promote a club. It's the multiple connections you can have to potential members or prospects and your members. It's that third or fourth or fifth or sixth contact within a certain period of time when they recognize as a group that they'll remember they heard about it. So that's what we're going to be talking about, is starting to build up those amount of times and what you need to do to get those to be related to each other and remembered. So when I'm talking about integration, basically you're with with the communications for a club, you're wanting to basically create a seamless, unified experience for both members, for your members to find out about what's coming up on your club, so you're getting your members' attention, as well as with visitors or inviting visitors to come to your meeting. So it's important that it's a consistent, unified, and accurate message and information. And it needs to be holistic in that the pieces need to work together. You don't want things that are totally different, like a whole different branding. And the nice thing is with Toastmasters International, we have branded materials that we can use, so we can use those and build on the branding work that they've already done. And then we want it to be consistent, both in person, whether it's in conversations between members or from the leaders to the club members and vice versa, in person and online. So basically you're wanting to take that image, that identity of what your club is like, and why you like to go to your meetings, and try to communicate that out to people. So it comes down, the first thing really is what is identifying what that identity is and how you're wanting to talk about your club to people. Are you with me so far? Yeah.
Yes.
Let's see. Okay. Come on. There we go. So the foundation, I'm calling it a foundation, but really I'm thinking the first piece is when a visitor comes to your club, you never know when they're going to be there. You never know when you're going to have a visitor to your club if you're an open club. So one of the first things is you make sure that you're consistently having a good quality meetings. And since both of you are joining this continually postponed webinar, you're pretty active in Toastmasters, so that's good. That's cool. Joan, I don't know, which club are you with, Joan?
Freedom to Speak Toastmasters.
Freedom to Speak. And where are you at? I know that one.
Lee Summit.
Lee Summit. Okay. And are you VPPR or president?
VPR.
Okay. So what I'm saying, okay, regarding the foundation, so basically you put in place a foundation, and having good quality club meetings, which is what Joanne Monroe is her focus on as one of the trio, is to make sure people are trained and understand how to hold quality meetings. Basically, that meetings are going to be planned. So when a visitor comes, it's not like other meetings that are just dysfunctional. It's like you get to the point, you've planned it, you've got an agenda, you've got the roles filled, people are attending and participating. And so that each meeting that you have basically is going to have I call them the three main things you have. You had people doing project speeches or prepared speeches. You have every single speech is being evaluated and discussed. And you have the impromptu speeches, table topics. So the people have an opportunity to do those types of things. And one of our goals in my club and is to make it, we're always having fun. It's very positive. It's an encouraging kind of environment. And then having meetings that are so you're using your banner. So it's recognized that you're a Toastmasters International Club. You're talking about your club as in relationship to the Toastmasters International Educational Program, and you're showing how Toastmasters International and the educational plan actually works in people's lives. So basically, you want to approach each meeting as if it's going to be the one that you're going to get 5-10 visitors to, and you want them to see that and say, yeah, I need to be a part of this. The thing is, with everybody being so busy, the other aspect that's really critical is the website is, to me, it's that foundation for communication to both your members and to visitors. And that needs to be consistent to your club. It needs to reflect the character of your meetings. In my opinion, it needs to not have just tons of words, but have images so that it's personal. So it's not just a bunch of words. So what I did is I went through a few of our district websites and pulled some things. Because every club qualifies to get a free Toast website, which has a standard layout, but I can all look exactly the same. But I think it's very important that you take that Toast website and make it very personal to your club, which means put some pictures on your club, what you're doing, who your members are. Look like fun people. You also can have agendas and information. You're going to want to make sure have informations and resources. And one thing that we've done this isn't my home club, the Don't Stop Talking Toastmasters. So we regularly put new pictures on our homepage of our members as people join. And we take pictures during our meetings so that people can see what it's like, making it really personal and make announcements on our page. So we change our homepage quite a
enable me to figure out some dirty tricks he actually committed and which he just took credit for. And it doesn't matter. The touchstone in this case is the offense.
I'm sorry, what?
What the judge described today as unprecedented situation in which the president demanded intervention in this case.
I think that's somebody's news in the background.
Oh, okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. The other thing that needs to be in place on it is make sure that anything you say about where you meet and what time you're meeting and what expectations and those sorts of things also need to be accurate and consistent on your website.
But did not hide from the fact that this wasn't just about Attorney General William Barr waiting.
Another thing, I'm going to go up here.
The judge today holding the line wildly inappropriate for the president to do that.
Okay. So Jim, it's just you and I now. We'll see if Joan is going to join us. So,
All right.
the other thing, which I know you've done, and so you're getting some recognition. So using networks, online networks to help build interest in it. So you took advantage of the meetup that District 22 has, and that's good. So are you getting? You said you're getting some interest where people RSVP, but they don't actually show up.
Yeah, that's been the experience so far.
Okay.
But we are seeing those reservations, or those
Are
people
you
expressing interest, but not people showing up at the meeting just yet. So
one thing that I would suggest is whether it's from your website or from your meetup, if somebody reaches out to you through the meetup page, always reply to them. Reach out to them proactively and remind them when the next meeting is. So I was doing this. So you've set up yours, so you're familiar with my form. But the other thing is, we want to have some consistency between our websites. We've got some of the same imaging on our meetup page as we do on our website, which gets it more consistent. And then the other aspect of networking is people will RSVP for something, but until they feel personally connected or somewhat obligated. So if they give me a phone number, if anybody ever gives me a phone number for anything, I call them. If I have an email address, I send them a personal email address. Through Meetup, it's important that you reach back. I think it's important to make it a two-way conversation. Have you tried that, Jim? Have you had any opportunity to reach out to people who are RSVPing and ask when they're planning on attending so you can plan for them? Or
I've certainly had the opportunity, but I have to admit that no, I haven't really done that.
Okay.
It does take some more initiative on our part, but
It is.
We'll certainly start doing that.
Yeah, that's the other thing is make sure it's a conversation. So if people reach out to you, make sure you reach back out to them, and make them feel like they, would be comfortable coming to a meeting. So it's a big step for people to go to a place where they don't know. The other thing that we've done is we also, when we have an open house or when we talk about a special event, we also create, because Eventbrite invitations can be created for free. So we'll create one for a special meeting. Now this is from a year ago when we had our open house, when we first opened up the club. And then I provide that link to that Eventbrite to all of the members. So again, it's trying to multiply the impact. So you make sure it's not just you as the VPPR, but that you are encouraging your members to invite their friends, family, coworker, peers. And so you can provide them a link and say, please use this to invite your friends and coworkers to visit a meeting and see if it's something they'd be like to do, because it really is that impact of multiplying out your members and helping them talk about Toastmasters. Because it's, you know, a lot of quiet people, a lot of private people, a lot of introverts are in Toastmasters. So trying to do some things to encourage members to invite their friends and families. So that's made a big difference for us as well.
Yeah, that's something we haven't tried yet either, is the Eventbrite.
Yeah. And you can do that for yourself for free. The one other thing that we did is I had one of my members, when we first opened up the club, she did it as a project for her pathway she was on. And so she researched some local networking sites, like through the Kansas City Star activities. And so we registered on these other sites. And so we had, like, I think she found 3 or 4 other community networks in Kansas City. And we put listings of when we meet and everything. And we're getting some people from those things as well. So we're not just relying on Meetup, but we're also doing some other networking sites. So, and the other thing is, if anybody contacts you, the one of the main things is always reply back to them, always reach out to them again. We do get quite a few referrals from the Toastmasters International website too, where people reach out to me, and that's one of those things that really is something that you just have to contact them again. You make sure you reach out to them. Even if you're a little slow, say, I'm sorry it took me a day or 2 to get back to you, but always reply to them. And personally, and if they've posted it, if they've given me a phone number, I call them, which always kind of freaks them out, because it's like, oh, you called me. So make it as personable and make sure you're reaching out to those people. That's the part that really makes a difference and helps your club stand out. So if you have whoever your primary contact is for your club, make sure that they are reaching out. So if they're their primary contact for your club on Toastmasters International, the website, make sure they know they need to call back or contact the people.
Yeah, I think our vice president of membership is pretty good about that.
Yeah.
But I know that I've had instances where, you know, if people email me, I have no problem emailing back, but, you know, I haven't typically made any phone calls.
Yeah, I do. Yeah. And I was like, well, it's made a difference in ours. And we've got some people, some new members. We've gotten some new club members from that, from actually Meetup and from the networking sites. So it's been kind of nice.
Yeah, I can definitely understand how that would help them feel like they at least know one person that's going to be there, and they've already talked to one person that they're going to meet.
Yeah, it just shows that you actually really want them to come.
Right.
So, like, oh, they called me. They must really want to come. So, and then there's a lot of talk about, there is a Facebook site for District 22. Now, our club doesn't actually have a Facebook page for our club. But what I do is I post announcements about what we're doing in our club and on the Toastmaster District 22 website to try to generate more attention for our club within the district. So I use the district Facebook page for our club promotions and to promote what we're doing, like we have a contest or that sort of thing. I've also done some things with Twitter. Now, this is more for my PR manager role. Like when we had the TLI, I would post like live updates through the event. The one thing about when I talk about Facebook or Twitter or Instagram, any of these tools are more for at that time news. And so again, you wanting it to be reflective of the image and the identity of what your club is. You know, you don't want anything to contradict that, but you're trying to make it look like you're an approachable club and people are comfortable being there. People are having fun there. So again, using pictures, Twitter, these are the Facebook, the Twitter, the Instagram, those tools are more to magnify what's already out there. So make sure you've got your core foundation of your website is you're getting out there and you're posting new pictures regularly, keeping that active, up to date, and having quality meetings. So if you get a visitor to a meeting, you're able to follow up on it right away, like at that meeting. Invite them to come back, invite them to join, and following up on that conversation. So, are you still with me, Jim?
Yep.
Jim's still with me. I muted her, so. So these things, what I call the just in time, those are things to make it bigger or to communicate what's going out. There is historical, but people do not go back in time for the most part on that. That's as things are happening. And there are ways to integrate the things, so you can put the pictures on your website and vice versa, and we can look at that. But as long as I just focus on in our Don't Stop Talking Club, I primarily focus on the website and making sure I at least have the most recent information about our club out on our website. And we focus on having a good, high quality meeting every time we meet, so that people want to, if they come, then they want to join or they want to come again. And that's where the charm of the people, that's where the excitement comes in. It's a place for people to meet each other.
Right.
Yeah. So as far as Arrow Achievers, is there anything particular that you're dealing with that you'd like to talk about, Jim, or anything?
Well, I can't think of any particular event or anything, but we did have a pretty successful open house recently, and
Okay.
we did a lot of just advertising within the Spirit Air Systems company.
Uh-huh.
And I think that was what helped, because certainly most of the people, we did have a good number of guests, a handful of guests at least, which was pretty good. And I think it was just putting that extra effort in and just advertising that meeting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we've, of course, we're meeting in a new location, and we've had some support from, they're not really sponsoring us because we're an open club and we don't have a sponsor now, but they let us use the meeting room every week, and they let us put signs up in their door into the theater. And so then we've got the identity of Toastmasters International, and that we meet here. And so that our meetings then, and we always have so we do focus on having high quality meetings each week, so that if we get a visitor, that they know it's something real and it's worthwhile participating in. So, and then we take pictures. We take a lot of pictures and put them out there, especially if somebody joins. We just try to make sure we look like we're as approachable as possible. That's the one thing, is personalizing that website is a big piece, making it very personal to your group. So.
Right. And yeah, it's something I've been meaning to do too, is just take more pictures, at least at the recognition portion of the meeting.
Yeah.
People that have won the awards and
Mm-hmm.
getting those up on Facebook. But again, I just haven't been really good about getting in that habit and doing it regularly.
Yeah.
And another thing that might make it a little bit more difficult for me as a vice president of PR is that our secretary is actually the webmaster for the website. So I really don't have any access to make any real change on the website. And I would have to coordinate with him.
Now, would they let you get the login so you could post pictures too? Would they?
I would probably have to just work with him on that. But as you said, maybe if I could post pictures on Facebook, he should be able to snag those from there, grab them somehow, and put them on the website. Try to keep things consistent, or even email. Yeah.
Yeah. Email them to them and say, we just need to start getting a little more variety in our page so that people are, know what we're doing and what we're about.
Yeah, and it certainly makes sense to me, like having everything updated frequently, just so they know that it's an active club and it's something that is happening now, and it is something they can join in.
Yes.
Participate in.
You do want to look like you're active, and that it's a lively group, so that people will find value in checking it out.
Right.
So, and follow up. You get any inquiries or RSVPs, just reach out to them, whether it's through Meetup. If they give you an email address, reach out to them through another platform, like send them an email through your email, send them a personal email, And if they give you a phone number,
go ahead and call them. Think about what you want to say. So this is Jim from Arrow Showers, and it's your RSVP. And we just want to talk to you about our next meeting and see if you want to plan on attending. Just ask them again. So again, making it very personal and being as direct as you can without being too
without getting creepy. I don't know. You just want to reach out to them and be friendly, so at least they know that there are real people there that they would get to interact with. So, the other things that go along with open house. I'm actually going to be doing an open house workshop. It's going to be here in the Kansas City area on the 15th of March. And I'm looking to see if there might be one we might do another one down in Springfield or Joplin or Wichita that's in a different area, because open houses for open clubs, and even internal sponsored closed clubs need to have open houses to promote. Always looking for new members also. So it's not something just open clubs do, but closed clubs also need to be doing open houses and getting the word out. So, and I like you talking about putting one thing you can do with a closed club is you can put posters out about where Toastmasters is meeting and that sort of thing. So, do you guys meet in the same space each time, or do you go to a different space?
No, we are very good about being consistent and meeting in the same place every week at the same time.
Cool. So if they'll let you put up a poster there where Toastmasters meets here or something like that in that room, that could also help get the word out. So.
Right. Yeah, I don't think we have any kind of permanent signage there, but certainly, yeah, that's something to think about.
And if there's a break room where you could put a poster, there's flyer artwork that you can download from Toastmasters International website. And if you can print those like 11 by 17, you might be able to put those up in a bulletin board to invite people to come as well. Have you used any?
That's what we've done for the open houses, but it probably wouldn't hurt to just put them up for our regular meetings. Just say we meet every Wednesday at 4:45 at the HR Service Center.
Another one of the clubs around here, they have message boards, like basically monitors around the building. So their PR manager put announcements so that they're rotating on that screen in their offices, because they meet every Wednesday at noon. So they just make sure it's there so people are aware. And then also it's the encouraging your members to continue to invite people and reminding your members to keep inviting people. So it always takes
do that as well.
Yeah. So, okay. Well, I think that's really all I had. So you're going to want to focus on, you basically start where you're at. So you've got, you guys use a Toast Host website. So see what you can do to maybe increase and personalize that for yours. Continue to focus on having the quality meetings. Hopefully you're having real good, like people doing a variety of speeches and using the identity of the Toastmasters International, and your team, basically your club members, encouraging them to ask and talk to people about Toastmasters. That's a huge factor. So.
Yeah, I think we have the focus on the quality meetings.
That's cool. Yeah, and that's really where the Distinguished Club program, they sometimes you get down into the Toastmaster Speak. I call it Toastmaster Speak, where you're talking about DTM and Distinguished Toastmasters and all that. But really, the focusing on those aspects are the things you need to do to have a quality club meeting. But just make sure you're not talking in Toastmaster Speak to visitors. You're talking about what your club does well in the terms that a visitor would understand.
Right. Yeah, working in aerospace, we certainly become very conscious of all the acronyms we use when newcomers visit. Yeah. So I think we are pretty good about that. I think it's just more of, I think we are struggling a little bit with the social networking kind of stuff. I think that's kind of new to everybody in the club, and at least the online social networks.
Yeah.
And think one of the big questions that we do have is, or at least I think we've had for a while, is just how do we improve if people are searching for us on like Google or something like that. Does anybody have any input on ways that we can improve the search results, like where we would show up closer to the top
Yeah, one
on
of
a
the
Google search, or
on the
anything we can do about that?
on the first page, you want to have descriptive text about what you do. So on your page, you want to make sure it's stating that where you meet. So make sure that that's stated in the text, not in just graphics, but in the text and in the information on the page. Where you meet, what you do, like practicing giving speeches, you're working on being confident. Public speaking, those terms together, or training in public speaking, using some of those terms together will help get you higher up. And then you also want to make sure that it's stating where you are in Wichita, wherever your location is. Make sure that is stated in the text on your first page. That will increase your coming up with it. So,
Okay.
and then you can also put, when you insert a picture, you can do alternative text. And so basically it's reading that text as part of the search. So if you put a picture of people and your members who write a descriptive in that information, members watching a prepared speech from the whatever. So just describe what's in the picture in the text that's in the background, or the pictures of. So, and then you put captions on the page too. So I do it in the text there, and then I also put it in the text that describes the picture. So if people don't necessarily download the images, that text, it helps with the search results. So yeah,
those are definitely some of the tricks I think we're looking for.
Yeah, you want to make sure that the text is descriptive with what you're doing, and that it's truthful to what you're doing, and it's a networking.
Right.
We try to focus professional on our any of our networking sites that we're on. We make sure it's listed as a professional networking group, working on public speaking skills, gaining confidence in public speaking. So focusing on confidence, self-confidence, development, peer-to-peer support. So we try to tie in the business language more so than what I call Toastmaster speak. So you're using the business terms that somebody from outside would be what they would look for if they didn't know anything about Toastmasters.
Right.
Does that help at all?
Yeah, I think that's great.
Okay.
Yeah, those are things I don't think we really thought about, or didn't really understand like I said, we were really struggling to kind of figure that out. We knew that there was probably other PR people that knew more about how to make that happen.
Well, the main thing is you just got to remember, you got to use a message that resonates with people that don't know what Toastmasters is.
Yeah.
And do keep asking people, when you do have a visitor, ask them how they found out about your club. If it was a referral from somebody, then that's great. You should recognize people that are inviting people to meetings. Make sure that you're encouraging all your members by pointing out so-and-so invited. We had like 2 visitors today because Bob invited them today to join us. So
yeah, for our open house, I think the vice president of membership gave out awards to whoever invited or had the most guests show up for the meeting. So he did offer some incentive to get people there as well.
Yeah. So hopefully you guys are getting this, since you had that open house recently, you got some new members and that sort of thing.
Well, we've had repeat guests already, so that's good. That's the first step. Just like you said, we have to have that conversation about, okay, you're going to join.
Yeah.
So.
Well, and then ask them, is there any other, just make sure you continue to reach out to them so that they don't forget. So, okay. Well, Jim, I don't know if still here. I still see her on here, so I can unmute her and see if Joan, I don't know if you've heard any of that, if you have any comments on anything.
The only thing I would say is we have really started concentrating
on when a visitor comes, we have someone there that found us. We have done better at turning that person into a member than we used to. We really work on that.
Now, what are you saying? Can you share what you're saying to help to turn that around?
Well, if we have someone who comes to visit us, they've looked on Toastmasters International and found our club. We're a lunch club, which makes us have a special time. It has to be people that work usually in the area.
Mm-hmm.
But we've gotten better at making that visitor become a member than we used to, and better than we've done even at open houses.
Yeah.
We really set that as a goal and made our packet and made the people who talk with them.
Yeah.
And that's something that one person is more important to us than time and money invested in something where we get 5 people and we don't see them anymore.
Right.
So that is one thing we've done. We need improvement on our webpage, which is my responsibility.
Mm-hmm. Did you see any of this stuff? And I think you had something was behind in the background or something. As far as, I'm going to look up your website, but are you doing some things to personalize and make it look like your individual club so that people would recognize it? Oh, that looks like a place I want to be, kind of thing.
That's what I'm working on. I'm not a great person with the website, but I'm trying to get some help. And I have a young man in our club who has offered to meet with me and help me with those issues.
Yeah.
And then I have a young lady who's very effective on Facebook who's taken to doing a lot more of that. And she certainly has improved our likes and
Cool.
interest in than we used to. Mine is a learning curve. So
yeah, it is for all of us. It's a constant learning curve. Yeah, the main thing
Yep.
is more personal, and if you can get some folks to help taking pictures during meetings and getting things posted, that's one thing is making it look like your club is unique and not just a boring standard place. It's got to have some character, some personalization to it. So fewer words and more pictures go a long way on that, I'll say. But so if you've got somebody else to help, yes, I encourage you to always get as much help as you can on anything. So, and then, okay. Well, just to restate, we're going to have the an open house workshop. It's on March 15th. It'll be in the announcements when they go out. I'm still working, still trying to catch up from being so ill, and but that's going to be going out by early next week. And because it's the last week to get the early bird registration for the conference, which hoping you guys are both planning on attending that. And is there anything else I could cover while we're here? Right now, I'm just at the end of our time, 8:45. I don't want to hold anybody long.
well, I have some things I'm going to go jot down and work on.
Okay.
That you said tonight that I'm going to try.
Okay, cool. And I'd love to hear how it's working and maybe other trying from both of you.
Okay.
And to share it. And thank you so much for attending and for your patience with all my reschedules.